welcome back to another episode of The Dish. As always, I'm Jalen Russell, joined again by Jalen Gray, giving you the latest from the NBA this week. New year, welcome to the new year, 2017. Yep. We have a new table, a little bit of a new set. And we missed a couple things over the break in between semesters. Russell Westbrook just got snubbed from starting in the All-Star game. Completely ridiculous.
Even though he's averaging triple-double.
Should be starting over Steph, without a doubt.
What do you have to do?
The Sixers have won 7 of their last 9 games, 6-2 in the new year.
Irrelevant.
Trust the process.
Irrelevant.
So happy. Could not be happier.
We're still at the bottom.
And Cleveland traded for Kyle Korver, which makes
LeBron
them now
gets what he wants.
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even want to see them in the playoffs.
LeBron gets what he wants.
Just fire squad all out there. And then Rajon Rondo got benched in Chicago, which is now the 4th team he has scored in the NBA. He's got 26 to go. Can't wait to see what he does next.
Saw that coming.
But speaking of the All-Star game, like we did earlier, there's a problem that needs to be addressed in the All-Star game, and it's not just Russell Westbrook not starting in this year's game. The center position is no longer part of the All-Star game voting. They've made it
and it
guards
hasn't been for the last
forwards.
5 years.
Exactly, and it made sense a few years ago, but right now there's a resurgence in the NBA in centers, and I think that the center should be added back to the All-Star game ballot. What do you think?
I don't really think so. I mean, they got rid of it for a reason back in 2012, I believe. Back when there weren't that many centers, I think there was pretty much just
it was Cousins essentially.
There was Cousins, but then there was the guy from the Bynum. And that was and maybe Dwight. Yeah, I guess Dwight Howard was still prevalent back then. But I mean, I just don't think there's a need. Like, I think the forwards cover it. Like, you get to pick whatever front court players you want. Like, there's still I guess AD is the only center in the All-Star starters lineup. But I mean, Cousins could still make it in. DeAndre Jordan's probably still going to make it in.
I doubt both of them make it. I'd bet DeAndre probably doesn't.
But even if you get 2 centers, like that's 2 centers on both teams. I think that's good enough.
On both teams is the question, though. Like, that's the thing. I don't think there will be 2 on both teams. I think that you'll probably have 1 or 2 maybe on one side and then probably 1 on the other. I think there's probably 3 overall, where there should be, in theory, 6 because there are 5 positions in a 15-person roster for each team.
The East isn't as talented.
I mean, but they do have guys like Joel Embiid, Andre Drummond, guys that are putting up pretty big numbers. Miles Turner is an up-and-coming guy.
Joel Embiid is not an all-star yet.
Okay, that's a totally other conversation that we won't even get into. Trust the process. But the only thing I'm saying is that, like, you're ruining guys' legacies, and that's where I have the biggest problem with that. Is because when a guy retires, what do you look at? You go, how many rings does he have? How many All-NBA teams has he made? And how many All-Star games has he made?
I think those are just things that throw on the resume. That's not.
Yeah, but like
the end-all, be-all
is what
getting
makes,
into the Hall of Fame.
The resume is what makes you get into the Hall of Fame. What else?
How many All-Star games did Chris Mullin make?
I have no idea.
Probably not that many. Not that many.
But then he was on a great team, though. That's the thing. Like, it's totally different when you've got guys that are like a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. If he doesn't make the All-Star game this year, that hurts him a lot because he's not winning at all in Sacramento. So he's not going to have the rings.
He's going to make it.
He probably will.
He's had like 2 50-point games this year.
He probably will make it, but still, like, what I'm saying is that there are a bunch of very talented centers right now. And so if you adjusted at the time when there were no good centers, why not adjust back now that there are good centers? It doesn't make sense not to.
I think that this system right now is like sort of, I guess, a cookie cutter option so that you can like get everybody included. It's like Same thing goes for point guards and shooting guards. Like, it's a point guard driven league right now. There's a shortage of, all-star shooting guards. So, I mean, James Harden was like the one before he played point guard. Yeah. But I mean, if you want to say that, then we need more shooting guards to be represented.
I'd say if there's a resurgence in shooting guards, or even if there isn't, I'd say we should just make it by position.
And I think if those guys are good enough that they will get voted in.
We'll have to see what happens with those last 10 spots on each roster. But moving on, another thing that happened over winter break was Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks. I don't even know how to describe it necessarily, but just the whole interaction between him and Phil Jackson slandering him in the media. Someone's got to leave there.
Go.
And a possible destination could be the Clippers. Chris Paul is out for the next 6 to 8 weeks with a torn ligament in his thumb. Blake Griffin's out for another week or two with an injured knee. Do you think that the Clippers should try to make a move to trade for Melo?
I don't think it's the Clippers. I think that, if anything, the Knicks should just be trying. I mean,
shopping around.
I don't think that Melo wants to leave. He said that he doesn't want to leave. that he wants to stay. But if he's going to go anywhere, I think that's where he'd be the happiest. So it's probably the most likely. But I don't think, for the Clippers' sake, I don't think it's a move that's going to push them over the edge and propel them to championship status.
So, interesting thing that I'm thinking here. So, Blake Griffin has a player option for next year, so he could opt out and be gone. Same with CP3, could opt out and be gone. If they lose both of those guys, the Clippers are going to be just in shambles. They're going to be grasping at straws trying to get their team back together, right? So what I'm thinking is CP3 is your guy that you want to build around. He's one of the best point guards in the league. So why not bring in one of his friends, Carmelo Anthony, to convince him to stay? And you have to trade Blake, and you might. And with trading Blake,
but Melo's also older.
But the thing is that Melo's already secured under contract. If you lose Blake this offseason and get nothing in return,
Melo's got
you're just sitting there SOL.
Maybe 4 years left.
And that's fair, but how?
Like one half of
but Chris Paul only has probably about 4 or 5 years left if he rests a little bit. This is true,
but I think you.
This is your championship window.
And keep going.
This is your championship window, and Blake Griffin, and you can't keep both of them. And I think that losing Chris Paul is a lot more damaging to this team than losing Blake Griffin. So why not trade him and get another guy that can shoot, another guy that can score, and see if you can maybe lure one more guy in so you can get over that hump and actually challenge the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers for a title.
See, now that would be a great idea if they had another superstar that they could definitely, I guess,
I don't think they have superstar because they don't have that kind of money left.
But just another like good player that you know is consistent. It's gonna make you a championship team, I guess. But I just don't see them getting rid of Blake.
We'll have to see what happens around the trade deadline in February. That's all we have for you this week. Keep an eye out for a possible live show in a couple weeks. We'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.